Our presenter today, Mr. Daniel White. He is here from ScanID365.com. I know your interest is already peaked, so I'm going to let him explain what that's all about.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for letting me present. I do appreciate this. I actually got to present up at the Eustis one a few months ago, and this one's completely different because I actually know some people in the room were up there. I didn't know anybody except my mentor over there. So the sponsoring organizations, I've never seen that slide before, and I got to tell you that the one thing I really liked was that I've been part of or know someone that's used every one of those organizations. Myself, I'm part of the UCF incubator program, and Brian is, he keeps me in check. So he talks to me every week. Sometimes we have a scheduled 2-week meeting, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm working. And he's like, what are you working on? And he just keeps me going. The chamber is great for networking. SBDC, if you've never used them, they have them and SCORE that work together a lot. They do a lot of free stuff. I use them because I don't know everything. I don't even pretend to know everything, but it's fantastic. So if you've never used these organizations, and Ray and I are supposed to be meeting sometime soon, so I get to learn more about what he does. But Ray's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I don't know.
Decade?
Yeah, since he was part of the chamber years ago. So is it just right and left? Okay, so I'll get into what I am. So of course, my name is Daniel White. But before I start my presentation, I want everyone in the room just look around real quick. And pick somebody you actually know. This is a sort of a little test, okay? Don't tell me who you pick because I don't want to know, and then I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I do not want to know the answers, okay? So question number 1 is if that person were down and out, they couldn't talk, do you know what medications they're on? Number 2, if they're down and out, do you know what their medical conditions are? Like, do they have a heart stent or whatever? And number 3 is, do you know if they have any allergies? Now, did y'all pick someone in the room you actually know? Yeah. Could anyone answer the question? Just throw your hand up if you knew the questions and the answers. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's the problem. So, all right, so this is kind of a horrible story. So I ride dirt bikes. Me and my friends, we go riding, we race. It's how we stay fit. We stay mentally focused. Well, we're up in Ocala. We go riding there. We meet as a group all the time. One Sunday back in October, the guy, one of our friends, hit a tree, knocked him out. He was just unconscious, right? Couldn't get him to come back. So the friends that were there, I wasn't there, thank God, but it still impacted because he was my friend. So he's out. EMS gets there. They ask the same questions I just asked you. Now, this is our friend. I've known the guy for 5 years, 15 people there. They've all known the guy longer than I have, right? So not one of us or the group could answer the questions. Well, worst case scenario is he ended up passing away in the woods that day. So the next question was, could we actually have his wife's phone number so we can contact her, right? Now, there were 15 people there. Every one of them knew him. He's our good friend. Not one of us, including myself who wasn't there, had his phone number. Think about it. Like when you're talking to your friend, you talk to your friend and you don't usually get your spouse's phone number or their spouse's phone number, right? Because you just go between you and them. So guys, guys, girls, girls, whatever, right? So this was the problem. And that day impacted all of us like super, super bad. So that's when we realized this is a real problem. This is something that I just didn't know what to do about. And one of my friends called me because he knows I'm a techie. We're talking about the problem. Like, well, HIPAA sucks because you're not allowed to share your own information. And there's just all these hurdles to this information, which sounds super simple. So what we did is we put our heads together and we came up with a solution, which we call ScanID365. It is a super, super simple solution. It's database driven, so it's on the web. There's no app, there's no sign-in, there's nothing like that. But you as a person, once you sign up, you actually fill out your profile and you enter the information that you want me to know if you're out. So if you're laying on the ground and I'll walk up to you and you have a scan ID, I can scan your ID, put in your security code, safety ID is what we call it, and we can get the information about you that you want me to know so that I can help you. And that includes as many emergency contacts, notes to EMS. And it's called notes to EMS because if we call it allergies and medications and things like that, now you fall under HIPAA. We do not want to be under HIPAA because that adds all this other crazy stuff. So that was our solution. I invite you to try it, or you can go to scanifhurt.com. You can see how simplistic it is. You can either type it in on your phone, you can scan the QR code. Everybody The solution actually includes a sticker pack that looks like this. You put it on your phone or somewhere visible. I have one on my truck, one on my phone, one on my helmet. And then you have an alphanumeric code that is your security and also you and you only. So you get the code for life. And my code is P8PJ5. So if you go to scanifhurt.com and put in, well, it'd be easier to remember, Dan, DAN 007, you will see everything I want you to know about me in case I can't talk. Like, let's face it, the older we get, the more prone we are to falling down, knocking ourselves out, or just passing out randomly from, heat exhaustion or whatever it may be. So this is the solution we came up with. All right, so far, we did an MVP, which stands for minimum viable product. Because we went to the Forded Trail Riders organization. We kind of showed around, talked about what we wanted to build and what we thought would be a solution. We go, oh my God, that's a great idea. So we end up putting a bunch of money in 6 months of work behind it, and to create the real solution. We have it, right? We got in with the business incubator, so we're part of that. Like I said, Brian mentors me all the time on what I'm doing. So we're working our butts off. We've even we're part of Plug and Play, which we just graduated the class on batch 3, so that ended. But it just gives you like introductions, and then we met with like Lake County, the county commissioners. So we've been doing a lot of things and kind of just get out there doing these presentations. So we're working really, really hard at this. Okay, but just like every startup, you really don't know what's going to hit and what's not, and who's going to be your client, who isn't. But I can say though, we have about 450 subscribers now. We're averaging right now about 29 new a month. So it's a small, slow trickle, but at least it's working. And I feel like our mission is really to help people in that very small situation where no one ever wants to be in, but if you are in there, you really want this little cheap insurance kind of thing. So as I ask around, I keep getting the same feedback. Oh my God, that's great. I really think that's a fantastic idea, The other question is, why isn't this available already? And then, who was it? She told me today that this happened to her yesterday. And because she's seen me and heard my presentation before, her first thing is like, man, I wish we had this scan ID system. So she told me as soon as I walked in today, I didn't even say nothing. And she's like, oh, hey, I got to tell you this. So I'm sorry for the situation it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it just reiterates we never know when this is going to happen or who it's going to happen to. I can tell you, though, that I've now learned statistics, and some of the statistics are that 30% of the nation, so 1 out of every 3 people in this room, if they were to go down and we don't know about them, when EMS shows up, there's something about them that would help EMS treat them better. That is a scary, scary, scary number to me. I did not know that when we created this. We created this, if I'm being truthful, self-serving, because my friend had that incident, and I didn't ever want to feel like that again. Even though I wasn't even there, I was impacted because my friend group, as soon as it happened, all started texting, and we're on this stupid large friend group text group, and I knew within 5 minutes, and that whole text group is how I found out that no one had the phone number, including myself, and we're like trying to call friends of friends and try to find out her phone number. So it was a frantic 20 minutes. So it was a horrible feeling. I hope y'all never have that. All right, so as part of this presentation, of course, this is not a pitch, but this is a coaching session for me. I appreciate you're all coaching. So the last time I did this, my ask was, people love this, but nobody's buying. So honestly, that has not changed much at all. So 29 people a month, that's not that many. So we've been doing in-person sales. That works. It's ready. We're selling that. We're actually doing that this weekend. But the truth is, sometimes we go to an event, we get 0 sales. Sometimes we get 10. I think the most we've ever done at any one event is 20. So you spend a lot of time and you potentially help 20 people. So I'm looking at what is my pivot? I know that what I'm doing is not working. I'm not helping enough people. I have to do something different. So I'll tell you one thing I did land is the maritime industry people came to me and they said, we love your solution, however, it doesn't meet our needs. I was like, great, what would meet your needs? And we talked about it over a couple of weeks. I wrote up some requirements. They're actually paying me to make modifications and create their own special edition, and then they're going to resell it under their own co-branded thing. So that's a really, really cool thing. We're in the process of doing that now. But that's what really got me thinking, oh my God, What if that was my pivot? What, should I do that? Should I just find other maritime-like organizations and try to do the same thing so I can help grow and help people be safe? But there's another question I got too, which I constantly get as soon as I introduce my solution. I inevitably say, what about people that wander off? And at first I didn't really understand what they meant, but we're talking about dementia, Alzheimer's, autistic children, things like that, right? I didn't realize that's like 1 in 30. So it's a huge thing, but there's no solution for people who wander off and kind of notifying people. Well, me being the propeller head I am, which is a techie, I actually figured out a solution for that. However, it would cost me $20,000 to $30,000 of my own cash that I don't have to build in probably a few months. So that's what I'm here for. So do I continue with the in-person one-on-one sales, which is dismal? So I'm pretty sure that answers why would I? Or should I do the focus on finding the other maritime style clients because that has a great potential and I'm in the middle of building that? Or should I don't know, do a GoFundMe or something, try to get $20,000 somehow and add that as an additional service to what I've already created. So the floor is yours.
I have a question though. Other than the in-person meetings, are you advertising this anywhere? How do people know about it?
This.
Okay.
I don't, so we do some Facebook advertising. We've been trying that. And that's how we're getting the 29 most of the time. But for the most part, I have an ad in the Florida Trailers magazine and not much else. I'm bootstrapping this, so I don't have a ton of cash. And I don't even know where to advertise if I'm being honest.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi Jackie.
So you mentioned autism. That's what was going through my mind the whole time. I have an autistic daughter who is verbal and wonderful. When upset, she goes nonverbal. And even if it's just me and her, she can't talk. She also has severe POTS, which means that she faints a lot. There's a whole host of things and other issues as well. So for her, something like this could be amazing because she could be having issues from POTS. She could be on the floor somewhere. Not that she's ever without me, but hoping that day comes. For people to understand that it's not just the autism, it's the POTS, and that's with her heart and everything. So it's serious. So I think it's great for that type of community, but I would suggest instead of just marketing to everyone, figure out some of these target audiences and start to know the people that are in that world who help make the differences. Get to know people that are leading autism programs and things such as that. You said you have that idea for the solution. I think what you have already is already hitting the mark if it's presented to the right people. And then you can look at all different ways of combining sponsorship.
Yes, I totally agree. And I've actually had that suggestion before. And there's an organization called FALA, the Florida Assisted Living Association. I joined that about a month ago, and I've been to a couple of the meetings, so I'm getting to know people because I realized that once you pass my age, there's things happen, and you go downhill, and things happen more often. So I would say people like I'm 55, so over 55 would really be more of my target, and then also the special outlier cases that are below that. So I did start going down that route, but I'm new to that as well. Thank you for your suggestion, Jackie.
Good morning, Daniel.
Hey.
Obviously, we've met numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
I think what you showed kind of hit the nail on the head. You showed a picture of yourself on a dirt bike. Have you thought about doing some sort of a video showing somebody going down on their dirt bike and the person can grab their phone, scan it, get their information, tell the ambulance that information? I think sometimes the visual is more impactful than trying to explain it.
I do have that video. Me and my friend went to the woods and we pretended, that all that happened and did a little video on it. So I do have a demo video of that. But honestly, it hasn't helped me at all so far. I'm not sure why. And it's probably because I'm not a good marketer, if I'm being honest. I'm good at creating technologies. I'm okay at one-on-one sales, but when it comes to internet sales and marketing, I'm not very good at that. I've learned that.
I'm sorry, I don't mind. So at an event that you are promoting it, or you have a tent or something, do you have that video being shown so people walking by can see it? Sometimes we don't explain it well when we're face to face with people.
You know, I don't, but since I have my event this weekend, which is with, I don't know, 2,000 dirt bikers, I'm going to put that on my table now. Thank you. I'm going to do that this weekend, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is.
Like here to Maurice.
Maurice Sanders with Easy Drink. I was just
Oh,
wondering,
hey.
how do you capitalize on referrals from the 450 sales you already have and the 29 you get per month? Because I think that's a missed opportunity.
So I actually built an affiliate program inside my software. So if you sign up, even if you don't buy, you can become an affiliate. And when you do referrals, you would earn a little money too. So I do have a referral network set up. It's not, it's fully functional for the most part. So you could actually start referring today if you really wanted to. So I do have that. My business partner, he's going to start doing referral classes to teach people how to sell, because he's a sales guy, I'm not. So how to sell, how to do referrals, and how our system works for that. So we have thought about that, and we've taken steps to do that, but it's not, for lack of better terms, fully baked yet, but almost. Thank you for your suggestion.
So, a couple thoughts here. First of all, I sat on the board at the start. There's similar but different products out there, one of which is Roth ID tags. The story of that was the woman who's the founder.
I'm familiar with it. I love it.
Her sister was killed in a car accident, 2 toddlers in the back seat, car seats. No one could identify who to call for hours. The way we got her started was we went to every volunteer and paid fire department, EMS unit, police department, told the story that somebody, I believe this gentleman just said, show videos, actually show crash scene videos of where her sister was killed. And that really resonated with first responders. All of a sudden, we're promoting this throughout. So I think that's really going to be a key for you. And also following up on what the lady here in the back said, I think you have to find that niche to at least get started. There are a lot of agencies out there that issue cell phones to organizations. It can be, shelters for women that are seeking shelter, obviously. Other similar organizations that will do that. And going back to the YouTube video suggestion, getting it out there to organizations like that and creating videos, respecting privacy, I think will be a key point to you getting that groundswell of interest to go further and deeper into other markets, into other opportunities.
So what was your name again?
Scott Jingold.
With who?
Jingold Advisors.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. So I know about Roth ID. I think it's a fantastic product. Just like my product, every product has holes. So theirs is a sticker that sticks on a car seat. It actually has a little security peel off, and then you handwrite the information on the Roth ID. That girl's done fantastic. She's like in Target and Walmart, or I don't know, she's in a few retailers now, and she's literally just a sticker, right? So the hole in hers is that if something changes, you have to buy a new sticker, but it's only 20 bucks. So I think it's a great product. I like mine better, but I'm a little prejudiced, I would like to meet her though, because I think I could really help her enhance her product by commingling our products personally. So thank you, Scott.
Hey, good morning. My name is Jared Taylor. I'm the founder of Sugarloaf Partners, which is a fundraising consulting firm. I have a question and a comment. So my question was similar to this gentleman's of what's the difference between your product and say something like Road ID, which is meant for runners, hikers, it's like a medical bracelet. And then the comment, so that was the question, comment is, I'm the father of a 5-year-old child who has autism. He elopes, that's the medical term for wandering or walking away, elopement. And so Lake County has 2 programs, Operation Safety Aware, and then there's another one run through the county / the sheriff's office. They're clunky bracelets. I would highly encourage you to reach out to the sheriff's office or Lake County to talk with them about those. They have limitations because one of them that my son can't wear, they basically, like if he eloped, they could scan around for like a radio waves, but it has about a 1-mile distance. So elopement is a huge concern for me and my family. We're hyper vigilant. We can't go out and enjoy anything because of the fear of him eloping. So highly encourage you to contact Lake County and talk about those 2 programs for autistic individuals.
So thank you for your suggestions. And I have actually talked to Lake County. Lake County showed me the thing that you configure on your phone, just the emergency thing, and then the smart 911 system. They showed me those. But to answer your question, the difference between what we have and like the bracelets, for example. So the bracelets, once you print them, it's kind of a done thing. So if anything changes, you have to get another one printed, which takes a week or two, right? Ours is database driven. So if you make a change and you save it right now, it is available right now. So any updates, or even if you want to do a temporary, say you went to a resort for the weekend, right? You want to enjoy yourself, right? You could actually put in your notes to EMS that I'm staying in this resort in this room, and this is my son's name, right? Or even under your emergency contacts, there's a note. It says relationship, but you can, put call wife first, call dad last because he freaks out, something like that. So that's the big difference between like what Roth and the, I forgot what it's called. Road ID, yeah. So those are great solutions, but again, we all have our different pros and cons. And I didn't know about all of those when I created this. I did look around some. I never even heard of Smart 911 until I met with the county and they showed it to me. A great program. Adoption rate is dismal, horrible, because nobody knows it's out there. So if you don't know it's out there, Smart 911 is free for anyone in this county. So I think it's a fantastic program, and I don't really see them as a competitor. So go on to Smart 911, fill out your profile, and if you call from a phone that's registered with Smart 911, all the information that I have on my stuff is actually on Smart 911 as well. But now when you call 911 from that phone number, it'll work. Of course, the downside is if you don't use your phone or you're not in a place where you have satellite or you have cell signal, it's not going to work. Where mine, actually, the scan ID works. If you have an iPhone 14 or newer and you scan it even in the woods, you can get the information via satellite. So pros and cons of everything. Everyone has holes, including myself. But thank you. And I'm elopement, is that what it's called? Elopement. I hadn't heard that term, so that one's new on me.
Excellent. We're going to go back here and then come up here.
Hey, Dan.
Hi.
Scott Hill with Proximity Accelerators, like you mentioned. And I've seen you at a couple different events and presentations, and I'm a big fan of your product, and I want to see you be very successful. Can you tell us a little bit more about your team, if you've got one in place, or what you might be looking for a team to help you build this product and build it out? And then one thing that I'd like to maybe ask you to consider is, because I see this as being almost as ubiquitous as seatbelts. I mean, this is really something that could be incorporated into a lot of different products, just as part of the safety, like you said with the with Roth, the stickers, just something that becomes embedded into how we work as a society. So I'm wondering if insurance companies, like major insurance companies, might, if that might be a route to go where it becomes part of how they put together their policies.
Okay, so let me start with the insurance company. So I've tried contacting insurance companies, a ton of them. So far, I've gotten that many responses because those guys are great about calling you back. So I will keep trying, and if anyone has contacts that actually will call me back, I would love to talk to them. So I have tried. I'm beating my head against the wall right now against that one. As far as my team, so there's myself and my business partner, Dalton. He couldn't be here today because he works a real job. So he's we're the leaders. I'm the CEO. He's the CSO. So he's taken over the sales portions of things, and he just started with me actually working like a month or so ago. So he's a new partner. I have a couple of software developers who actually build the software. So I tell them what to do, they build it, and then I tell them what they did wrong, and they build it right. So that's an ongoing thing. I have two of those. Then I have a video guy who can do videos. I don't use him as much as I probably should based on your comment. But then I have a guy, I use a software called Go High Level, and he's kind of the marketing graphics. So he's helping me set up. Like, I really have no marketing behind this. Like, if you were to come to my site and register, that's as far as it happens for me right now, is like, you didn't buy, but you're registered. And then I have I hired a company, just a flat rate, that is doing my Facebook ads. So they're helping me with the messaging on Facebook and the stuff like that. So they're Facebook experts, but they're only doing Facebook. So that's what I have going on right now. But resources are kind of limited because I'm bootstrapping. Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning. Eric Callahan. I'm in Black SUV transportation, but I've done bus work for about 25 years. There's a captive audience that most of us know about but don't know about. Two segments of that, I would contact local bus companies. These buses drive over the road. Their drivers often have conditions. Not bad things, but it would be good to know that if I'm leaving Florida and I wind up in Texas for a week, that somebody could scan my sticker and know my conditions.
Oh, yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah.
What you also will find there, if they have their own tour group, and there's tour groups around, 55 and upwards who's known to be on buses, you may be able to get them to contact their clients and put your name out, or find those groups. Central Florida is blessed with 55 and ups, and they're very active. You could either there as well. It would be a good way to get people flowing while you scale up to the where you want to get to.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. The guy right behind you. How's that?
Excellent. Go back here and then we'll come back up here. Go ahead, Nate.
I imagine that your market validation is going to lead you towards probably people that are towards self-preservation, people that are kind of afraid of dying. If you've ever been up towards the villages, I lived in there for 2 years. You get to see fire trucks drive up and down those roads all day long. That community itself is extremely self-preservation focused. You know, the fire department is now on its own. You might be able to go through the fire department. That community, all you have to do is take out one ad in the paper, and it is sad how many people will literally call you seeking solutions. It is a wicked idea.
I did actually look up there, believe it or not. They have 5 different newspapers up there, and the minimum cost per ad per paper is like $2.50, and I'm like, I can't afford that every month.
There's only one newspaper that's the Village's Daily Sun, and that's the only one that's increasing in daily volume. So all the other ones are just dead newspapers that are trying to make money. But yeah, if you're looking at the Daily Sun, take out a little postcard ad, and you'll probably get 30, 40 calls from it, and then they talk. And it's a pretty wicked community for advertising. That's it. I do a little mailer, it costs me $600, and I literally get 80, 90 customers from one mailer.
Wow, okay.
Kevin Hires, quick question. First of all, do you have an app? Did I miss that?
No, actually, I built it on an application or a backend called React. So it's a website that also works on your phone. If I wanted to spin it off into an app for an iPhone or an Android, I could. That's why I chose React.
Beautiful.
So no, but yes.
My suggestion to you then, maybe you're missing a market that would have a high interest in this. Many years ago, I used to do triathlons, multi-sport. I actually got run over by a car while biking, and I can see a use for this in those groups. And if you go to any YMCA, Orlando, Dr. Phillips, Severity, they all have large triathlon groups that run out of there. They train at the YMCA, and then they meet up for rides, like out of Winter Garden, whatever, and they go on these long rides. Central Florida Triathlon Group, for example, over 230 participants in the group, and they all put a sticker on there.
Yeah, I would love to meet whoever organized those events, because even the race bibs, because they're custom printed, and my IDs are unique, I could actually tie the QR code to the ID of the person. So they could fill out their profile, and it could be part of the race entry, and then they would actually own it for a year as well.
To get to those multi-sports, so marathon runners and triathletes, you can even call those YMCAs instead of wasting your trip to like downtown Orlando. Find out what triathlon group works out of there, and the personal trainer who leads it. Personal trainers, a list of those guys might be a good source for you to prospect from.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion.
Excellent. All right, we've got time for about 2 more. We've got one up here. And
when you were presenting your solution, I was wondering, I have seen that already on my phone. So on every iPhone and probably Android, you can access the health information of the user. So that is why the pivot to anybody who doesn't have a phone on a particular situation, like someone wandering out of a street without any type of technology, that I believe could be the right fit for your product, because this can be, most of the people don't know that their phone has that ability, right? So
yep.
When they get that information, technology will be there just for default, so I don't need to pay anything for having my ID and my medical history access quickly if I'm unconscious. So, someone who doesn't have the technology probably would be the right fit for what you are looking for.
Yes, thank you. And just to show you, so the stickers, I mean, I just put one on the back of my phone. So if my phone's dead or breaks or just you can't get it to work for whatever reason, the sticker's always going to work on someone else's phone. So someone in the group should always have a phone. So that was the idea. But I also was testing this. It's sublimation printing on a piece of metal. It works exactly the same as this. I have this in my pocket for at least a month now, and it's fantastic. So I'm looking at other form factors, and I was looking for bracelets, but I couldn't find the bracelets where I could print a QR code on them. So we're looking at different things that we can try out and maybe offer as alternatives to just a sticker. But yeah, so that everything you just said just made me think of that. So I'm trying, but you know, I only have so much time.
Yeah. Good morning, Kim Solberg with Edward Jones. I really like the product idea. I'd like to actually hear, this is going to be valuable for you, to hear more of the end game. So if you have it and they scan it, what are the benefits? Because I think that could be a lot of your sales component in your marketing.
Yeah.
But I, like you and other people here, I'm a big outdoorsist, water skier, anything else I can do outside. And we have a triathlon here in Clermont this weekend. It's probably closing down my boat ramp, damn it. Sorry. But to be honest, there's so many things like this. But I would be hitting, just like you had discussed earlier, I'd be really looking at your group sales, because it is a group type of thing. Any of these tournaments, it's a water ski tournament, a triathlon, if it's a turkey run, everybody gets a big old number.
Right. And that was my question is I know I need to pivot because I've been doing one-on-one sales. And now I sold to the Maritime Industry Group, and I had a meeting with a guy who owns a company that has 2,000 employees that does landscaping, and they're looking to implement it. So I think several of you all have just given me different groups of people to think about. So I think even though y'all haven't come out and said you need to pivot and just go for groups, I think that's the answer I was looking for, and the validation is I'm at least thinking right. I'm not crazy.
Can you give us an end game story though?
Yeah, okay, so the end game, and I think this is what you're saying, right? So if I'm not explaining it, please correct me. So if someone's down on the ground, right? Normally EMS is not right there because you have to call them, and it takes them anywhere from, you know, whoever it may be. That's what I'm saying is whoever arrives first, if they see it, they can scan it as long as they have a working cell phone. It doesn't even matter what brand or version of it, because every cell phone nowadays can do a QR code. So if you can do the QR code, it's going to open the website. That's really all it does. That's the end game application. It opens an EMS access website. The new QR codes will actually send the code with it. The current ones, I didn't figure this out before I printed them. You have to punch in the code. So my next batch that I buy, all the codes will be in the QR code itself. So when you put in the code now, it gives you the information. So if y'all didn't go to scanifert.com and put in demo 1 or Dan 007, if you did, you'll see exactly what it shows you. And that's what I configured. And I was playing around with it this morning, and I put some gibberish in because I forgot that I was doing this. So I didn't save that, but you can see that it's database driven. So it doesn't matter who is the first person there, because 99% of the persons that come to you first are not EMS. They're just a regular Joe like me. And sometimes they know you, sometimes they don't. And even if they do know you, they don't know enough about you. So you can pull the stuff up, have it ready, so when you do call EMS, that they show up and you can give them some information that they wouldn't already know. Because when they're showing up, they're blind. You know, they're just like, man down, go help them. Okay, you know, so that's kind of the end game, is it's so anyone can help them. And the security, because this is what I always get, is you have an alphanumeric code that's yours and yours alone, that's yours forever. So if they put your code in, they're only going to get your information. If they put in a bogus code, they're not. If some hacker tries to hack our system, they get 3 tries and then it locks them out and it puts a reCAPTCHA up. So I do have security around it as much as I can, but without actually impeding your ability or our mission, which our mission is to get the minimal information in front of the person at that point of need. Did that answer your question? And by the way, I use Edward Jones and I love Edward Jones.
So we're getting close to time. I'm going to take a couple more questions. I'm going to put your contact information back up. There it is, so that take a picture of this as you all start to think of more feedback and suggestions. You know how to get a hold of Daniel, but we will have time for a couple more. It's great feedback.
Oh, finally, you get to
My
you.
name is Johanna, and I'm with Primerica Financial Services. What is the cost if I was to pick up the phone and get my grandma signed up and whatnot? You know, I understand the sticker on the back of the phone is not a very expensive thing, but as far as the cost, is that a monthly
So,
cost?
yeah, okay. So the stickers is $10. It gets you your safety ID for life. So once you get that ID it's yours forever. So if you wanted to do like the keychain and have your ID on it, you just keep reusing that same ID. If you need more IDs because you want more stickers, those are only $10. One-time fee for $10, okay? It gives you 4 stickers and that ID forever. So the cost, I've broken it down to monthly, annual, or lifetime, $275 a month, and I said $2.75, not a bunch, $25 a year, or $200 for life. So I'm trying to make it super affordable so that a family of 4, and by the way, if you're a parent, it's $25. If you have children or even your husband or whatever spouse, those get a discount of $20. So the $25 for the first and $20 for everyone under you. So you have the ability to set up a package, yeah. Yeah, so for a family of 4, it would be $85 a year, plus the one-time fee of $10 per person to get the safety ID. So I'm trying to make it super affordable. I really, really believe in this. I've spent so much money building this system. I don't expect to get my money back for probably 3 years. So yes, I still work a real job. And for those of you that already knew me, I still do mortgages. That's why I make money. So right now I'm just spending money to do this because I believe in it so much. And then the doctor, you're the doctor, right? No, I thought you were. So, oh, I'm sorry, Rupert.
Rupert.
So I have good news and bad news.
Oh, Jesus.
You have competition.
I know. Everybody does.
Right. You asked in the beginning, you had a concern about this maritime deal, right? So what is your mission? And does that maritime deal fit in with your mission?
So my mission is pretty simple, to get the information that they need at the time they need it. So yes, the base product scan ID is not going to change. The modifications that the maritime industry wanted was they wanted a document management system with a second level of security and the ability to put notes. Because in the maritime industry, which is about 100,000 people worldwide, they're from all over the world. And when one of the kids, because it's mostly kids at work, in their young 20s or whatever, when they get hurt, they don't know anything about them. They don't know who to call. And sometimes there's a language barrier. So the modifications, it still meets my goal, which is getting that information, but it's just adapting to add a little bit more information with additional security behind it. So yes, it still meets my mission.
So do you have a plan to leverage that deal? Like most obviously, is that going to be a licensing deal?
Yeah, it's a co-branding deal. So if you don't know what co-branding means, Scan ID and the lady that owns the company, we'll have both of our logos side by side. She'll have her own color schemes and interface, but we're calling it additions. So what I did is I thought bigger than just her, and I we're creating an edition creator so that I can spin up more editions and do the same thing with other industries and kind of customize each edition to the needs of the individuals, as long as it, of course, falls under my own mission.
Okay, well then in that case, I would also look at ancillary or complementary industries like dock workers, right?
That's why I call it maritime. I actually have 2 clients under the same umbrella. One is actually started working with me. The other one is still hemming and hawing. So I'm trying.
And I would talk to the Navy.
The Navy? Mm-hmm. Like the U.S. Navy? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, they have a system that's already in place, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
I'll ask anybody. I'm not shy.
Well,
Rupert,
again,
do you know somebody?
Daniel's contact information for all of you that know someone in the Navy. Make sure you get that. Or just someone that you think needs to hear from him or could support him, or if you have another idea, make sure you give him a call or send him an email, because That if you think of something after the fact, that doesn't mean you shouldn't reach out and still give it to
Yeah,
them, right?
and everyone that gave me ideas, thank you very much. I can't say how much I appreciate it. I really do. I know that the way we got here, we never phantomed this, honestly. We were just building it for ourselves to not feel like we felt. But we realized that we can help so many more people in the world, but we just need help, in getting our word out there. So thank you for all the different ideas. I mean, the equestrian industry, the last time she helped me, and still helping me actually, and then, the others. So I do appreciate it. I can't tell you how much.
Thank you, Dan.